Well, I'm out here in genuinely in the middle of channel country. There's been a lot of water flowing through here over the last couple of months. I'm just in a little section of the channel country not far from Innamincka, pretty much halfway between Thargomindah and Innamincka. There's water over the road here at 200 kilometres exactly from Thargomindah. And I'm just going to let the diffs cool down a little bit because I have been hammering along here at 100 kilometres an hour for a couple of hours. So I'm pretty sure everything underneath the car is going to be nice and hot. So I'm just going to pull up for a second. I'm not going to pull off to the side of the road because I've just hit genuine channel country. And I don't want to test out how soft the sides of the road are. I'm just going to pull up over here. All right. Cheers. So while we're letting the car cool down here a little bit, before we dive into all these water crossings, we're talking about the channel country in South West Queensland, and in particular the Cooper Creek Basin. And just from the map here, you can see a section of the centre of the map where there's just scores of waterways, and that is the heart of the channel country. And what we're driving through here is the channel country in flood. It's actually been higher than this in the couple of weeks prior to when I came through. I had a friend drive through just a couple of weeks before, and this whole section that we've got footage of here was underwater for 4 kilometres. It wasn't super deep. It was only 30-40 centimetres deep, but the whole lot of it was underwater, and I was really keen to see what it looked like, so I thought I'd head out here. And I was out in the corner country anyway, but I had a day spare in my itinerary, so I drove out to this area, and with the primary goal of being that I can actually take a look at it and actually see the channel country in flood and just get to really experience it firsthand what it's like. So I'm on the Innamincka road here, and now that the water's dropped down a little bit, as you drive through this 4 kilometre stretch, you'll just keep hitting spot after spot where water's come up across the road. So I've grabbed a couple of the highlights here just to give you a bit of a feel of what it's like. As I say, the water's dropping down here. But this section, I say it's out in southwest Queensland, but this particular section is called Middle Swamp. And if you have a look at it on the map, there's just lots and lots of waterways shown on the map, but they only have water in them when the water's flowing down from a flood event. So you'll see lots of water here as we're coming through these sections. So once the water drains through, it drains out of the Cooper Basin really quickly and it heads down towards Lake Eyre. But so we can go from having water over the road to 4 weeks later it just looks like a desert again and you don't see the water at all. So yeah, so this area is called Middle Swamp, and as I say, end to end of this Middle Swamp section's 4 kilometres long. So this is pretty cool for me to be able to get out here, and you'll see I've had to slow down for a few sections. They're a little bit deep there. I had to take it easy. If you go in there too fast, all you're going to do is just push a lot of water into the front of your vehicle in around your radiator and your fins and things like that. So I was just taking it easy as I came through here. So I drove across the 4 kilometres, had a look at it all, and then I headed off to have a look at the dig tree, and that'll be a separate video. I've got some footage of the Cooper Creek flooding over at the Birkenwig Wills dig tree, and then I came back through this section a second time because I was heading back to a little town called Nakundra, so I came back through here and got to drive it back through the other way. When I came back through this section, I actually put the drone up to get some aerial footage of this area, just to get a look at what the channel country looks like from up in the air. And one of the really cool things I did was I was able to get here right on sunset and get a shot of the sun going down over this channel country, and we'll include this in this video as well. If you're enjoying the content we're producing on the I Love Dirt channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button
and the like button to let other people know what we're doing and for you to stay up to date with the content we're producing.
One of the interesting things I noticed about the road here as I was coming through is as I got to the sort of the last kilometre, as I said, it's 4 kilometres wide. As I got through to the last kilometre, there was actually a lot of damage to the road, a lot of potholes and things like that. So as you're looking at the footage here, you'll actually see some of those potholes. They're actually marked them with witches' hats. The local council out here has to try and manage these roads during these flood events. It's actually quite a tricky thing to do. So, this road's only just come out from underneath water in the few days before I got here. So, council's come out here and marked all the areas where the bitumen's been washed away. They've marked them there with witches' hats. And at this stage, you've just got to be able to drive around all those things. And over the couple of weeks after I was here, and the road's fully dried out, then council comes back through and actually fixes and restores the road. But one of the interesting things to take away from all of that is if you're out here driving through this area when the road is actually fully flooded, as I say, it didn't get very deep, it was only 30, 40 centimetres, but underneath that water, that road damage is actually starting to happen. And so you've got to be really careful driving through here because you can easily drop your wheel into one of those potholes that you just can't see. So taking it easy, taking your time, going slow is really important when you're travelling through these areas. So we just come to the end of the section here, and you see we've actually got a proper creek section of Cooper Creek here. You can see the water's right up against the bridge, and this was in the earlier afternoon. So I put the drone up in the earlier afternoon and just did a bit of a flyback here, just so that I could see what the Channel Country looked like. This is probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, so you can get a better sense of just how it's just a big, wide floodplain, and the water really just does spread out over these areas. It's just pretty incredible to see. So I've run the drone across there so you can get a sense for it. And as I say, these water levels change really, really quickly. As I say, 2 weeks before this was all underwater. And then, 2 weeks later, the road was dry and clear for everybody to come through. I'll just let you take this all in as we come over, as we fly over these sections. So this is the Queensland Channel Country in all its glory. It's absolutely beautiful to look at. So my plan this afternoon was to get this footage, and then I headed over to the Dig Tree, which was another hour or so down the road. So I drove down to the Dig Tree, and as I say, separately I've got a video for that where I've got some drone footage of the Cooper Creek going through the Dig Tree area at flood. And then I turned around from the Dig Tree and drove back over here, and I got back over here about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was able to put the drone up for a second shot so that you could see those sunset shots. Here we're just flying the drone across the channels of the Channel Country, so you can just see. Normally this is just desert. It's all just rocky surface and gibber and things like that. And as I say, it's very flat, so it's very easy for the water to spread out over this area. It's just so this is another shot I took once I was back there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You could see the sun's just starting to dip on the horizon there, so I put the drone up at probably about 70 metres here and just got a good wide high shot of what this Channel Country looks like. So if you ever get the opportunity, certainly head out here and take a look at this. In the earlier part of the year, the floodwaters come through. Monsoon season's up in the Gulf in December and January, so you get a lot of flooding up in the Gulf in Queensland, and all of that water takes months to flow down through the western part of Queensland, and it comes through here and looks like this. You probably wouldn't get through this area at that time of the year. You get road closures, etc. But if you come in late in the season, sometimes around February, March, you can still see water coming through here. This year's been interesting. We've had lots of rain events this year, so there's been localised flooding down in South West Queensland. And this area has been topped up with rainfall that's just been down in South West Queensland, and a lot of this water's come off the back of that rainfall. So, I'm out here in July, and this is really unusual to see this kind of water out here in July. Over the last few years, it's only a couple of years ago, we were in full drought. So that's why it was a great opportunity for me to get out. But if you want to see the Channel Country at full flight like that, you've only just got to take a look at the council's road reports out here. They tell you how much water's coming through, what the water levels are like, so you can keep track of that and plan a trip to come out and see it. Only took me 2 days to drive out to this area. So it's certainly achievable, and that's coming out from Brisbane. So if you knew that had some rain out here and you knew that the flood levels are up, it's certainly something you could easily plan into your schedule and come out for a week and take a look at what's going on here. So now we're taking a look at the footage of I've come back. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon here, and you can see I'm coming back. I'm heading west here. Actually, I've come back into this area, and I've turned around, saying I'm driving into the sun there. But you can see I'm driving around those witches' hats that they've placed on the road to let you know where the potholes are that have been created by the washouts in this area. So really nice spot. So this is my turnaround area where I found. So I'd stop there and then head back down the road, and here's that drone footage I was shooting for. So here's the Channel Country, about 5:30 in the afternoon in July, so in the middle of winter for us. And I've been able to get some shots there, just flying the drone across the channels just as the sun's going down. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful thing to see. It's a really good trip. Enjoyed my time on this one. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.